What's going on, everyone? Good evening. Welcome back to the SAGU Esports Twitch. My name is Taylor, aka Taylor Halo, and I'm joined by my good friend Braden, aka BKR. How's it going, Braden?
What's up, guys? I'm having a great time. Y'all excited for our Overwatch stream tonight?
It's gonna be pretty awesome. We're getting the Overwatch 2 NECC League season started. I want to say this is the first game we've streamed. This is the first game they've played in the season.
I believe it's the first game that they've played for NECC. They played one for ECAC last night, which they won.
Let's go Overwatch. Big shout out to our Overwatch guys. We're going to go more into them later. But I think we're really excited for tonight. But we got to start out, what even is Overwatch 2? Because I'm sure some of you guys are tuning in, trying to cheer on SAGU Esports, but you may not be familiar with the game. So to break it down for you, Overwatch 2 is a 5 versus 5 team shooter where the main point of the game is to, across a variety of maps, capture objectives, whether it be trying to push an objective over a distance, capture a specific point, like you're some kind of king of the hill. There's a few different game modes that we'll go over, and there's a lot of different maps to play on with special characters that have special abilities. Sometimes it can be a lot to keep track of, but we're going to do our best to keep you guys informed so you can stay focused in on the game and get a good sense of what's going on. So you want to tell them about how the map selection system is going to go, Braden?
Yes, so there's a lot of different maps that they can have the choice to play on, but they actually will not be choosing at least the first map tonight. So SAGU is considered the away team tonight, so that means that they get to ban one map, and then the home team, which is the team that they're
Black,
yes.
North Dakota University.
Yes, North Dakota University, and they get to choose the first stage. And then after that, whoever wins the first map gets to ban one stage, and then the losing team of that round gets to choose the next one.
Yeah, so it's going to continue going on like that. We're doing a best-of-5 format, so the first to win 3 games is going to win. We're going to go over a bunch of different game modes over the course of the set. The first one we're going to start with is Control, which is that King of the Hill style game mode. So there's a few different maps for Control. Nepal. What else do we have? We have Busan, I believe, is one of them. The one in Korea. And they're going to fight for Control to get 100% capture points over this specific point. And they're going to go over a few different sub-maps within one specific map, but it's going to be the first team to win 2 points wins the whole game. And that's going to give them one collective game over the course of the set. And so that'll be the first map that we play on. Currently, you know, the teams are trying to get set up, get in contact with each other now. We're going to be getting into that pretty soon. Oh, so soon, in fact. Here we go. We've got the first set of teams. We've got the red team. That's going to be our SAGU Lions versus NDU Black's team, or UND, rather. My apologies. And it looks like we're going to be starting out on Lijiang Tower. This is probably one of my favorite Control maps to play on. You've got a couple different settings. You've got a little, how would you even describe that building? That's over a koi pond.
I mean, it's like that tower that you can see in the picture right there.
That's one of them. That tower, that's over a little koi pond, so there's going to be a couple holes that you're going to want to try and avoid. There's going to be a skyscraper map that takes place in some kind of astronomy building. And then the last one, oh, it's slipping me right now. What's the last Lijiang?
Honestly,
map? Oh, it's the market.
Remember.
It's the market.
Yeah.
It's the market and the temple. And that one is a really fun one because there's a lot of different avenues to go around, and you're fighting in like a big square area.
Oh yeah, Overwatch gets crazy. This game is super chaotic.
So the teams are going to want to try to build their composition of different archetypes of characters that are going to synergize well with each other. You want to pick characters whose abilities can kind of work together to make cool combos and create strategic advantages. The main goal with Overwatch, right, is that from a base level, you want to make sure you are winning fights with your team. You want to try to pick your fights so that you have the numbers advantage as often as possible. And when you don't, you're going to want to try to play it in a careful manner where you can either stall long enough for your team to get back or just go crazy and win 2v1s, 3v1s, 3v2s, like that. So basically,
Now
we're getting into it
arriving
now.
at
We're going to get a look at some of this team composition. But there are 3 different roles. The tank role, the attack role, and the support role. One player plays the tank role, I believe for our SAGU lines. That's going to be our good friend Crazy Kyle. I love that guy. And the role of the tank is kind of what it sounds like. They're big, bulky characters who are going to be wanting to take hits and absorb all of the damage for the rest of their team. Tanks have like a lot of health. They usually have abilities to like stun or stop characters from getting past a certain point. Then you've got your damage, your DPS.
I'll talk about the DPS.
Yeah. You're a DPS guy.
Yeah, I like to play DPS. DPS, their whole thing is killing, doing damage and killing as many people as possible. So our damage players is NECC playing Bastion, which is that big robot that we're spectating right now, and then also Slayer, who's playing Hanzo, who's guy who runs around, shoots arrows. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, it's so funny because Overwatch is like in this futuristic setting, and then you've got this guy running around with a bow, getting headshots. And then lastly, we have our support roles, which are Snowbear and
Sapphire.
And Sapphire, yeah. And so they're going to be pretty weak in terms of offense, but they're going to be providing healing and special bonus effects to try and make it easier for the DPS to take down the opponents. And right now you can see we're already getting into our first round on Lijiang Tower. We're in the market map, which is what we were describing earlier, and it looks like North Dakota is getting a good start. They are pushing our team back into their spawn already, and they've captured the point. As you can see at the top of your screen, the red team, which is UND, is already gaining percentage on the point. And so they're going to want to try their best to, now that they've captured it, lock down the point and wait for that percentage to get to 100%. And if they can do that without SAGU reaching 100% first, they're going to take this round and be that much closer to winning the game.
Yeah, and the only way that SAGU can take the point is if they get every single one of UND's players off the point and then capture it for a certain amount of time. And once that they've captured it, as long as one of them is on it, then UND can't capture it.
So they're going to try and make a push in. We've got Kyle here on Ramatra. He's a very fun character. Doesn't do too much damage, but has some shields and has some good area control where he can stop people from being in a specific area, or else they're going to take some damage over time. But they kind of stopped that push. SAGU's going to need to run back and regroup before they can make an effective push again. But they're getting their team back. They're going to try and group up here. Pushing through these narrow hallways can be really tough. There's a few different routes to take, so you can try to mix up where you're going to come out from. But good teams are going to have very good awareness. You can see the enemy team is running a character called Zarya right now. And her whole gimmick is putting shields, these bubble shields, on her teammates and herself to store up power and then shoot that power back at her opponents, whether that's with a laser beam or with some energy grenades. And their tank is doing a really great job of holding SAGU back. Not to mention, we're getting some damage peppered on from their ninja, their Genji. And that's going to just do a little bit of extra damage and allow Zarya to have a better time finishing off opponents. But we've got a push from SAGU coming in. We've got kills from NECC and Slayer. We've got Sapphire moving onto point as Mercy. She used her ultimate ability. Every character has a super strong ultimate ability that allows her to give healing to the entire team and boost to everyone. And that allowed the team to stay alive, push in against the opponents, and now they've taken the point. At a really pivotal moment, too. The opponent team, NDU, was at 99%. They were just about to get the point, but SAGU made a last-second push, and they've now taken control. It's going to be hard, though, because they have to hold an entire point, and basically, if UND wins one big team fight, then they can just take this round.
Yep, if they capture it at all, then they win this round. However, remember, if SAGU loses this round, it's not the end of it, because this little section of control is actually best of 3.
Yeah.
So the way this works is if UND's, looks like they might capture right here. They do.
They got a team wipe. They used Zarya's black hole ability, which drags everyone into a certain spot, and then their character Reaper, another DPS, it used his ultimate ability, which does a massive area of damage to anyone in a certain radius of him. So you can imagine when everyone's in one spot, it makes it really easy to finish him off. They did a really good combo, and they took the round that way. So now SAGU's going to have to reevaluate. But they're not out of it yet, not for this game. We still have plenty of this round left to go.
Yeah, so what kind of things do you think that SAGU could do better going into this next round? Because it seemed like they didn't hardly get on the point at all.
Yeah, I think I was seeing Kyle push in a lot as Ramatra, and I feel like there was a bit of like staggering between the team. In other words, they kind of filed in one by one, and they didn't push as a whole unit enough. There were some times, especially at the end, when Sapphire popped her ult and was healing everyone with Mercy. That was a really good push, but they really need to coordinate like that better if they're going to make a strong play. And it looks like they're doing a better job. We've got Kyle on Orisa now, who she is great for entering fights. Oh, looks like the enemy team has an Orisa too. She is probably pretty strong on this map. We're now at the tower above the koi pond, so she has abilities that can push enemies off of ledges, which is very strong here. But right now, UND has them trapped in this small room right outside the point. You can see Kyle is trying to make a push onto the point right now. He's gonna go in. He's being healed by Mercy right now by Sapphire. Not enough healing though. He just gets targeted by 3 different characters. And now that the tank's gone, UND is just gonna pick everyone off one by one. Slayer's the only one left on the point. He needs to get out of there, but he's gonna die. And yeah, so now that everyone's dead, the best option SAGU has right now is to try to keep them at bay, stop them from getting pushed too far back into their own spawn, and waiting for everyone to rejoin together so they can push as a unit again.
So it seems like UND is really doing a good job of staying alive, because they're just like SAGU, usually their main goal is to get picks, like pick off 1 or 2 of the enemy team, and then once you have the numbers advantage to just push in, take the point. But they're not really getting any of them dead. Like it's really just like, they're getting plenty of damage. Oh, there's
hold on. We've got a kill, and it's one of their supports too. So that's the Lucio down. They're gonna have less healing and movement. Genji down, that's a DPS, making some really strong pushes. Nanook's got her ult, so she can rain down a volley of very strong shots if need be, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. She's going to use her standard machine gun as Bastion, and they're going to take the point. So now they're playing defense right now while UND is trying to recuperate. Kyle is going to run up, try to make some space. He's going to try and stop them from pushing far and make it so that UND is going to have to group up if they want to make a push. And right now, they're trying to get over this bridge. This is a really hard spot to hold. Kyle unleashes his ultimate ability, dragging everyone in, but good counterplay by their Lucio. He's able to create a shield that gives all of his teammates extra health, and they're just going to rush in real quick onto that point. It's actually pretty even right now, but I think they're probably going to win this. Hanzo and Mercy are the only ones left, and Hanzo is not really good at fighting against larger teams. So yeah, they're going to get that point back, and they're close to taking it. Kyle's going to need to run onto the point. Someone's going to try to have to contest this point if SAGU has any hope of taking this game back. And Kyle's going to go in. He's going to run and try to kill the Lucio.
Gets the Lucio.
Gets the support down. They're contesting the point. Oh, but the Genji pops his Dragon Blade, a very strong ultimate ability that does massive close range damage. And yeah, they're going to take about just about everyone. Only one left is Sapphire. Oh, she's going to try to revive Kyle. Gets the res off. So Kyle, if Kyle can survive for long enough, we've got some long-range support from Nanook with those missile barrages that we were talking about earlier. Kyle staying alive. Sapphire alive as well, just giving Kyle so much healing power. That's one of Mercy's strengths. And actually, they might end up taking this back.
Yeah, the fact that they brought this back is actually pretty incredible when it was just Mercy, who doesn't even really do much damage at all, but she just stalled on the point long enough, because as long as just one of them is on there, they can't win the point. So actually, they've got a shot of winning this as long as they can keep pushing up there and catching up.
Yeah, we've got Snow Bear on Alari, the newly released champion, trying to do some healing too. Unleashes an ult. That's going to make them take more damage. And with Kyle's ult too, what a good combo. They're going to get 2 kills. Are they going to take the point here? They are. SAGU might bring this back.
So they have, So now the whole thing is defense. So they have to just stay alive, because if they go off the point at all, then UND will capture the point and then win captures, bringing them up 1-0 in the best of 5.
Yeah, SAGU needs to win this point to stay alive in this first round, and they're doing a pretty good job at it. Sapphire's doing a good job of keeping Kyle alive. I mean, Mercy's basically entirely a healing character. You can see Slayer picking up some kills with Hanzo, and that's going to be great. Hanzo is great. He's not good at the team fights, but he is very strong in the 1v1 team fights. He's going to launch his ultimate ability, his Spirit Dragon, which basically just says, there's this big area you guys cannot enter. Great for stalling. And stalling is exactly what they need, as SAGU is approaching the 100% threshold. UND is going to make a push here, engaging with Orisa, dragging everyone in. Oh no, they're doing a lot of damage, but so is Nano.
Both tanks are dead. This is a really volatile state where nobody really has any protection. It's just going to come down to who's going to stay alive and who's going to die.
Yeah. UND, they have their people on point. Oh, and Nanook's going to try and go for the long-range assist with Bastion. Get some volleys in there. Oh, that's big.
That's big damage.
Oh, but the nano boost from the enemy Ana powering up, I believe it was their soldier. Oh, this could be big from Slayer. He can take out their supports and their DPS. Their tank may be strong, but sometimes tanks just can't take out units on their own. Oh, but the DPS coming through for UND and taking everyone out. And that's going to be first point to them. And they're going to win the control section of this game. But props to SAGU for making it super close, almost bringing it back. We were told that tonight both teams were about the same in rank level, so they're very similar skill-wise. So we're in for a pretty good rest of the set, I hear.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. So our next map is called Hybrid, which is a little weird, but it's because it's a mix between two different versions of maps that we'll get into later. But you want to explain Hybrid for me real quick?
So what you just saw was control, and it's all about capturing one specific point. Hybrid starts out with capturing a point in that same way. However, after the attacking team captures the point, they're going to get this payload, this little like cart type thing. It depends on what map you play, but an objective that they're going to have to move along a set path. And they're going to try to get it to the end of the map, or if they can't get it all the way to the end, at least as far as possible. And the team that wins will be the one who gets the cart the furthest. And both teams are going to play attack and defense. So one team is going to start off as attacking. They're going to try to capture the point, push the payload as far as possible. Then they're going to switch sides, and that same team will then try to defend and stop the enemy from doing the exact same thing. So it gives both teams a chance to play their aggressive heroes, their characters, and then also say, all right, we're going to try and play on defense now, adjust our strategy, and do whatever we have to do for there.
So what happens when both teams push the payload all the way to the end?
We're going to go into a round of overtime where there's no limits on the clock, and they're going to get a little extra time boost, but at that point, we just run through the same stuff again, and it's set to how far can they get it a second time. The difference is that whenever you get to a checkpoint, there's going to be a series of checkpoints in hybrid and payload maps where once you get there, your time is going to extend. So even if your clock runs out, if you get to that checkpoint, you're going to get an extra, I think it's generally 2 minutes on the clock. Yeah. But once you get into overtime, you don't get the luxury of those time bonuses. It is just until the enemy team can stop you, push the payload as far as possible.
All right.
Hopefully that makes enough sense. Basically, all you need to know is they're going to capture a point and try to push a little car as far as possible. And we're going to Kings Row, one of the staple hybrid maps. I'm excited for this one. So let's see what characters. We know that Kyle plays a large range of tank characters.
He prefers Diva and Ramatra. However, he was playing Orisa last round. Yeah. So, I mean, we really don't know what to expect.
We don't. I think tank, I'm a tank player personally, and I know that you have to be very flexible on tank because, A, the map really dictates what tank you have to play, and B, the enemy team dictates what tank you have to play. Like, for D.Va, if Kyle tried to play D.Va against the Zarya, it's really hard for D.Va to do well because of what tools she has. But usually we've got Nanook on Bastion, Slayer on that Hanzo, Sapphire's going to be on Alari, Snowbear's on Alari, as you can see now, and then Sapphire on Mercy. So I think that's going to stay the same for most of the time. Right now, we've got Kyle on Doomfist. Very different character than, like, Ramatra, who's attacking from range. Doomfist is all about being up in your face. He doesn't really even have a gun ability. He's got a little shotgun, but mostly Doomfist is all about punching you, stunning you with his, like, earthquake abilities. He's a very interesting tank.
Yeah, so what I think their idea here is that, I mean, King's Row is infamous for being really hard to push through that first point. So I think what their idea is to play really up and close and to go around this far side so that once they get here, now they can get really up in their face and try and force this first point.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Almost takes out the Soldier, but is saved by the Zarya. We've got Snowbear trying to take a sneaky kind of point where he can shoot healing beams from the sidelines, but Supreme Gamer, their Zarya, is doing a good job of pushing everyone back, and they're kind of back in their spawn. They're back at this really tough wall that, like you were talking about, is a really hard choke point to get through for players on offense. This is really, like, the only huge obstacle you have. If teams can push through this choke point right here, they have such an easier time actually taking the point and really puts defense on the back foot. But right now, I think North Dakota is doing a great job. Kyle's going to jump in, try to put on some damage, but
very little help.
Oh, yeah. And he's going to put on some damage resistance and get a lot of heals from his teammates, but it's not going to be enough. And now, with two key players dead, North Dakota is going to try and push up and stall by forcing SAGU to stay in their spawn for as long as possible. SAGU's really going to need to cooperate and form a very strong push if they want to take this point. I personally think you want to focus on taking out one of the DPSs first, and that's going to make it a lot harder for them to kill you, especially with Doomfist, who is not as defensive as most other tanks. Good job by Kyle, just putting on some damage there and escaping, trying to work with his teammates. You can see Snowbear there setting up a healing turret, also being able to heal himself. Oh, and a good ultimate combination. Kyle is going to jump on all of the enemy team, stunning them so Slayer can follow up with his dragon to do immense amount of damage, and they wiped out the entire team with that push. Great coordination from SAGU.
Absolutely. So it looks like they're going to take the entire point here because it has 3 different ticks that they have to get, but it looks like they're going to get all the way. So now that they've done this, now there's a payload that they get to walk through.
Oh, and I think Kyle is going to switch here. I think he just played Doomfist so they could rush in, get that first point, and yeah, now Kyle has switched to D.Va, which is going to be tough, like I said, against Zarya. As we talked about before, you know, Zarya has those bubbles, and she can absorb damage and send it right back at opponents. D.Va, she has this ability where she can delete bullets, basically. Just shoot them out of the air, and that's her...
That green box.
Yeah, that's the Matrix. You know, if everyone's seen the movie, it kind of looks the same. But basically, she can delete all bullets, and that is her main defensive ability. The problem is that Zarya doesn't actually shoot bullets. She has that beam, and so it's really hard for Divas to defend against Zarya. It's not impossible, though. No, you cannot absorb her beam. You can absorb her energy grenades, but Zaryas don't do that, because why would you do that when you can just laser D.Va down and do mad damage? Zarya uses her ult and put everyone in a certain spot, but some great healing by Sapphire. Unfortunately, after they all started to disperse, funnily enough, is when North Dakota was able to single them off one by one and get some progress. So now that SAGU is not on the payload, it's going to slowly move back towards them. So SAGU wants to act with some level of efficiency to make sure the payload doesn't move back too far, because, you know, that just makes their job harder. They've got about 2 minutes left, which I think is a good amount of time for them to push back forward and hopefully get the payload to the next checkpoint. Great hit there by Slayer, taking out the Soldier 76, one of their main avenues of damage. Soldier, pretty cut and dry character, just has a standard machine gun, a little bit of healing for his teammates, and some rockets to do burst area damage. Pushing back the enemies very nicely right now. Kyle's making good use of that Matrix. The Zarya can't push up too far, and Kyle's going to use his self-destruct ability to do massive damage. Going to get a kill on the Zarya and take out the enemy Alari's turret. Oh!
Yeah, unfortunately, SAGU's going to lose both of their DPS, and you can see that Kyle's health bar is purple right now, and that means that he can't be healed.
Yeah, thankfully the effect wore off. That's an effect of the enemy team's Ana, a sniper healer who basically can just heal her teammates from long range.
Yeah, unfortunately, that means SAGU's actually going to have to back off right before they reach that next checkpoint with only a minute to go.
But Kyle's going in right here, trying to do some damage. Can't do too much because the enemy still has their supports, their heals. Kyle's going to try and rush down support. The Alari is down. They're down a healer. This could be big. Gets a power boost from the Mercy. Oh, and the Genji's going to run in with a Dragon Blade to try and get some kills. Not successful, though. Yeah, and this is looking really good for SAGU.
Yeah, you can only get your ultimate abilities when you can see in the center of the bottom of the screen, you can see that circle that's charging up. That's their time before they can get their ultimate ability.
And it charges up by taking damage, doing damage, healing, depending on
a lot of different ways. But you don't get it very often, so when it's wasted like that, that's huge. That's a really big turning point for SAGU.
Zari's trying to stall, but not enough. NECC with the good double kill, and SAGU is so close to getting this next checkpoint with only 30 seconds left. If they can get this, they might be able to push the payload all the way.
And there it is. That's the next checkpoint. So 2 more minutes for SAGU.
Kyle's going to push up a little more. Like I said before, tank, it's so important that you can get up, and even if you're not pushing into the enemy's front line and doing a lot of damage, most tanks have some kind of ability to make their opponents go back. Like, they're so bulky, they can't just one-on-one a tank without, you know, putting themselves in a place of danger. And so Kyle is doing a great job of trying to push the enemy back so his teammates can get into a good position. Great work from Snowbear on Alari to do a lot of damage, and Kyle going in, taking out turrets, taking out
he's just
maybe
killing
some
them all.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of damage. And okay, that's the dragon from Hanzo. And do we see a follow-up from Kyle with the self-destruct? No, not yet. D.Va is a character. Okay,
there it is.
Sends out the self-destruct, and D.Va's gonna pop out of her mech.
Got 3 of them.
Gets a triple kill. Amazing work. Yeah, D.Va's cool because she can use her mech like as her ultimate ability, and then she jumps out and gets a little pistol to start blasting people until her mech comes back. Oh, nice work.
Kyle's just gonna kill him immediately.
Yeah, he's trying to stop them from making any sort of moves. The soldier tries to pop his ult, allowing him to auto-lock onto enemies, but he's not really gonna get anything off of it. This one support is so low. Oh no, that was the Symmetra, my bad. The Zarya's gonna try and push, make a last-ditch effort. Oh, but great artillery from the NECC. And they're so close. They just need to get a few more kills. Their enemy Mercy brings back the Zarya, who's a very strong player, which is a great move on their part. Oh, they're gonna push back actually. 2 kills from their own Bastion, and they're picking SAGU team off by now. I think this might be it. Yeah, with everyone dead, that they didn't get to that final point yet, but they got very close. They basically made it all the way. So great work from SAGU pushing that point. Now it's up to them to stop North Dakota from getting to that same spot.
Oh yeah. So now they have to play defense. And like we said before, this first point is really difficult to take. So SAGU's like ideal situation right now is to just not let them take the point at all.
I'm telling you what's going to happen right now. Kyle is going to play Reinhardt, who is this big German guy with a massive hammer and an even bigger shield. He excels at stopping characters from getting through those small choke points because, you know, if they get close to him, they're just going to get smacked with the hammer, and they're going to have to shoot a lot of damage to get the shield down. Oh, interesting. The Ramatra pick. Ramatra also has a shield and some close range abilities, but I think most people see Reinhardt coming out at this point. I'm interested to see how Kyle is going to play this out. Maybe try to stay from a safer range so he's not getting pelted with as much damage. I know North Dakota has been doing a great job of like locking on to a target with multiple of their team members and doing a lot of damage. So I can see where Kyle's coming from here.
Yeah, so I mean, talking with some of the players beforehand, they were saying that Reinhardt is, because like based on like different seasons in the game and how updates happen, they were saying that Reinhardt got nerfed a bit. So
Yeah.
he's not as strong as he used to be. So actually what it looks like Kyle's trying to do right now is they're actually just going to hold the high ground. And instead of being on point, they're just going to try and shoot them from up there.
This actually kind of works out because they did pick a Risa who is notably strong against Reinhardt. Got some good backline damage from Slayer on Hanzo there. You can see that Ramatra enters this kind of fist mode that allows him to kind of take on more one-on-one fights. It gives him some extra health and some extra durability. But I think it looks like North Dakota's won this team fight. I think it's just Alari and Hanzo left, who they're not good at that close range fight. But they might be able to stall just long enough for Kyle to get back and put on some pressure. So he's going to go in, try to do some damage, not get too much off. Again, those close range fights are really hard for Hanzo most of the time. And they might just get the point right here and right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for SAGU, simply because they also did it faster than SAGU did, which means they have more time now to push farther.
Yeah, they've got a whole 5 minutes right now to get just to the next checkpoint, not even to the end of the map. So SAGU's going to have to do a really good job on defense. But, you know, like we said, it's up to if you can get that first point. And I think maybe they played a little bit too far back and allowed them to have too much room. There's going to be a Reaper teleporting up there. Reaper excels at flanking and getting around to the backside, taking out some of the less durable characters on the team, like Hanzo. He does that right now. Also, something that's really hard for SAGU right now is that the enemy team has a Widowmaker who, like Hanzo, is a strong backline sniper rifle character. However, her shots are scarily accurate. Sometimes it takes Hanzo, like, because he just has a normal bow and arrow, so it takes some time for the arrow to reach his target. Widowmaker can just shoot her shot and get there instantly.
Yeah, she can charge up her shot, but she can move around while she's charging it, and then it shoots as soon as she fires.
Yeah, and she does heavy damage, and it looks like she's doing a great job of putting that damage onto SAGU and making them fall back. But they're kind of getting sandwiched between that Widowmaker and then the flanking Reaper who's trying to push SAGU into the line of sight of that Widowmaker. We got ults coming out left and right now. Snowbear doing a great job of using Alari's ult, which is a big sunlight blast to push everyone back and make it so they can't be as aggressive.
Orisa is so low here.
No, she's actually back at full.
But she's back up already.
Yeah,
Wow.
great job. Great heals for the enemy team. Kyle's going in with Ramatra's ult, which makes it so if you're standing around him, you have to be careful or else you might just die. But they solo him out and then solo out the rest of the team one by one. It's so hard when you don't have that tank to keep your teammates alive. And now they're getting pushed back into their spawn. And this is looking really tough for SAGU. We've seen them kind of clutch up in some of these moments before. And sometimes this final point can be hard to take. We're going to have to see if SAGU can make something happen. Going to launch out the Dragon, gets a kill on Lucio and one of the Orisa. This is looking pretty good. SAGU, great work just taking out everyone. I think except for one person, but they've got to fall back and retreat or else they're going to take longer to die and respawn, and then they're not going to be able to fight with their team, which not good at all. You want to make sure as many people are together whenever you're fighting another team. Like I said at the start of the stream, it's a numbers game half the time.
So there's about 4 minutes left on the clock here, and this is...
Oh, yeah, there's that Reaper ult. Massive damage.
I was about to say, this is very doable because this point is hard to take, but that Reaper ult, he can teleport in behind, and his whole thing is he flanks. He gets behind you and he shoots you with a shotgun. So that ult does massive area damage right on, like, targeted on the Reaper itself. So he got in, jumped down on him, and that was a quick loss, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did a good job of like bringing it back and kind of making it more even, but because they weren't able to take out that Reaper, it meant he got to wait for his team for just the right time, get huge kills, and then the rest of them just picked everyone off. So, yeah, North Dakota is very, very good on offense, is what I'm seeing right here. And SAGU, they really need to solidify their defense because I think they're doing fine on offense. Like we saw, it took them longer than North Dakota did, but they were able to push so far in and clutch up when they needed to. I think if they can solidify their defense, then they have a shot of bringing this back. But as it stands, North Dakota is up 2 points to SAGU 0. They only have to win one more game mode to take the set tonight. And next, we're going to be playing Overwatch's newest game mode, Flashpoint. Flashpoint is an interesting one. It's similar to Control in that you're taking these stationary objectives, but instead of going between maps, like between different sections, we went from the market on Lijiang Tower to that Koi Pond area. Now it's going to be on one massive map, and everyone's just going to be running back and forth between these different points from their spawn.
So I've actually never played the Flashpoint because it's so new. So explain to me. So does the point itself move around?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Your spawn point, I believe, stays the same. I'm not as experienced with it either, just because it's so new. But you've got a bunch of different objectives set around the entirety of the map. And every time a team takes one, a new one spawns somewhere else. And I believe it's the first to take 3 of those points.
And so there's only one at a time.
Yeah, there's only one at a time.
Okay, because I was kind of picturing it almost like Halo, where you have like multiple, like point A, point B, point C.
Yeah, and then who holds it the longest? No.
So it's not that.
No,
okay.
it's very similar to Control, but you're basically just not moving to a brand new map every time someone wins a point.
So it's just different points on the same map.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Interesting.
Which, you know, it kind of sounds the same, and I get that, I kind of agree, but because it's one singular big map, it means your pathing is a bit different, and it means you can have fights in different places. You got to be very smart with like where you're picking your fights. Right now, we are on, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't know which map this is. I don't know the names of the Flashpoint maps.
Yeah, I actually don't know this map.
Oh, Surabasa, there it is. That's the map. I don't know what country it's in though.
I've never played this map before. This is this might be a brand new one, or it's an old one that they brought back into rotation.
Yeah, well, this is like new to Flashpoint.
Oh, okay.
I think this is like the first Flashpoint map that they dropped, or at least one of the first ones. But it is, yeah, it's this. They're dropped at the same time. Okay, so this is the one of the first Flashpoint maps they announced. It's this small town area, which means there's going to be a lot of indoor fights. You find this a lot on Flashpoint. And you can see we're approaching the first point. Looks like North Dakota makes sense. They really got in there quickly. They've got a Lucio on their team who increases the move speed of his allies and allowed them to get in quickly. But SAGU does take the first kill, gets that support down, and is going to try and see if they can pick up any other kills. Unfortunately, Kyle's out of his mech, which means he's very vulnerable, and Nanook is dead. So is Sapphire. North Dakota's doing a great job of picking off SAGU's team, and they're going to take out Slayer too. They're getting started on that point.
It seems to me like what North Dakota's strategy is they picked all fast characters. So D.Va is a fast tank. They picked Tracer, who literally teleports.
Yeah, she's very weak, but she can be very mobile.
Yes, and then also Soldier, who has his sprint ability, and Lucio, who of course speeds up everyone.
Yeah.
So it seems like their strategy is to move everywhere as fast as possible, while meanwhile SAGU is sticking to their stuff, their best characters, and deciding that they're just gonna outshoot them.
Basically, which, you know, kind of working out here. Kyle's gonna pick up that kill on the D.Va. Slayer's getting the Lucio, and they're pushing people off the point. Now that some of their key players are dead, it allows SAGU to get started. And, oh, well...
I don't think that's where
that's not a roof. That. Okay, I know what Snowbear was thinking because he was throwing down... Actually, that's a really good turret placement. Never mind. He was throwing down that healing turret to make it easy for him to focus on taking down opponents while there's some passive healing from that turret that, you know, North Dakota's going to have to try and stop if they want to take down people. But I think he was trying to throw it onto the roof.
Yeah.
And that's not actually a roof. Oh, holy moly, that's a triple kill from Tracer's Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, so Tracer's Bomb is actually, not a great ult. She gets it really often, but it doesn't do that much damage. And the way it works is she gets in really close and then sticks it to you.
Yeah.
And once it sticks to you, then it does a lot of damage. But it also can hit the people around her.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult to like fight if you're all on together, which is why it's actually really good for control points.
Yeah, especially these, because I'm pretty sure Flashpoint maps are generally smaller than your standard control point. So a character like Tracer, who has that extreme close quarters damage, is going to be very strong.
I gotta say, this looks like a lot of fun. I've never played this version, like the game mode before.
Flashpoint's very chaotic,
Yeah,
dude.
it looks like a lot of chaos, which is really what a lot of Overwatch is. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna push out with Kiriko's ult, which basically gives everyone increased attack speed, comboing it with Soldier's ability to auto-lock onto anyone, and that's gonna be a team wipe.
That is a deadly combo.
Did they already? Oh no, sorry. The point was just unlocking, so they didn't capture the point yet. They got that first point, and so they moved on to the next one. That's a point for them on the board. I believe you need 3 points to win.
That's what I've been
Flashpoint.
told.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to see if SAGU can stop them from getting the second point. Ooh, Slayer starting off with a good kill on the Soldier. That's 1 DPS left. That means they can be a little more aggressive in their engages, but their Diva's doing a good job of kind of stopping this push in. NECC is looking for these kills. Bastion, it can be hard for him to deal with Tracer, so we'll see how that turns up. Kyle moving in, he has his ultimate ability, so if his mech ends up getting destroyed, yep, he's gonna let that ult rip. Oh, and actually that's a 3K from the enemy Diva using their ult at the same time, and that's kind of really bad.
Yeah, no, that is really unfortunate because that Diva ult is one of SAGU's best abilities that they can use in order to take a point because it does so much damage in such a large area. But the fact that they wasted it is really unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's gonna make taking this point quite difficult.
Yeah, they gotta push in right now. Doing a good job of keeping them back. Yeah, and I think that's North Dakota's second point. So now, not only is SAGU on match point for this game, they're on match point for their entire set. They've got to take this next flashpoint right now, or else it's going to be a big win for North Dakota. So everyone's starting to move over, get to that point before it unlocks, see if someone can get situated on there and see who has to play defense and who has to play offense starting off. Looks like Snow Bear is trying to sneak around, get there first. Looks like he's first on there. That means he can set up a turret and get situated, but I believe that North Dakota is going to have the numbers advantage, so it's going to be hard.
Isolated, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and there we go. North Dakota showing up. Snow Bear has to push back or else risks dying. Going to wait from that health pack spot so he can get some healing on his own. Tries to get out of there. Doesn't manage to escape. Unfortunate. We're going to have Kyle moving in here, almost getting the Tracer, but Tracer's just so mobile. She can get away.
She's very slippery. She also has an ability called Recall, which lets her teleport back to where she was a while ago, and it also regains all of the health that she had at the time.
Yeah, she basically just goes backwards in time. Oh my gosh, great work from North Dakota keeping that Diva alive.
Oh, and she drops her ultimate ability right as she runs out of health.
Yeah.
So that means when it comes back, it gets all their ability back. Oh no.
Unfortunate from Sapphire, getting pushed over a pit. I think she was trying to escape that ult, and that was the only place she could go. Oh my goodness, SAGU was dropping like flies. With 70% left, they've got to coordinate for really one last push. If they can't do that, then North Dakota is taking this. And they got a ways to go. They got to push in now. Can they even make it in time? This might be it. North Dakota just has to keep this point.
Kyle does have his ultimate, and he's gonna. Oh, yeah, he's gonna pop it, but there's no time.
And that's gonna be the game. North Dakota winning with a solid 3-0. Their aggressiveness was just so strong, and I think SAGU as another aggressive team just really struggled with that. They were out-aggressed, and I think SAGU, if they can focus a little bit on their defense more for next game, or like the next set that they play, then I think they'll do a lot stronger. But I think North Dakota is just so strong at having a strong offense that it just was hard for SAGU to do.
True. And a lot of SAGU's team is also somewhat inexperienced with just like the competitive scene. So we've really building the team right now, and it's the first game of the season. You know,
which I think still went pretty solidly.
Yeah,
personally.
honestly, it could have gone a lot worse. Like the what's it called, the hybrid map was actually, it was really close. Like they almost got all the way to the end.
Yeah, they almost won that control map back too. At Lijiang Tower.
Oh yeah.
So it really like could have gone either way.
A couple fights, and it would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, but North Dakota just doing a really good job of coming out victorious. But with that being said, that's gonna wrap up tonight's match for Overwatch 2. So we want to thank you guys all for watching. We also want to thank our sponsors, By Blue Light. Whoa, they make awesome blue light glasses. I'm not wearing. I'm wearing my other glasses
I'll
right
put
now.
some on. I'll put some on.
I'll put on these glasses.
Yeah, so these glasses, you can get them with prescriptions or not, but what they do is they just reflect blue light, and basically it keeps your eyes from getting strained when you're on the computer all the time. That can be for playing games. It can be from
watching TV, whatever.
Yeah, watching TV, just doing homework, things like that.
Yeah, so they're really nice. I'm getting my pair pretty soon. I'm very excited to see how they come out because they're pretty clean glasses. So shout outs to you guys for helping us to do what we love doing.
Huge thank
you. We appreciate it. So go check out By Blue Light. But I think that with that being said, that's gonna be it for tonight's set. Make sure to join us next week for the next Overwatch 2 game, and tune in to SAGU Esports. Make sure you follow us on Twitch, turn those notifications on so you can stay tuned for any of our other games. We're on the Smash team. You know, you want to tune in on Monday nights,
check out watch
Smash, bro. That's good. We also got Rocket League. We've also got Valorant, which I think Valorant's happening on Tuesdays.
Yeah, Modern Warfare.
Yeah, we've got
lots of games.
Much more content for the rest of the semester. We hope you guys stick with us and enjoy watching it. But until next time, this has been Taylor Halo and BKR. We're signing off. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.